we're recording again. Yeah, I mean, I think that they are concerned. I think these companies have to realize that you can be concerned about money, but at the same time, you can also be concerned about making good products because I don't think they realize this. A good product will sell better than a bad product.
Exactly.
Would you pay to go see the Resident Evil movies if they were what you wanted them to be? Because like Resident Evil is one of these things that it's like Metal Gear Solid, where there's a story here, and the story isn't so massively long that you can tell it within the confines of a 2.5-hour movie.
Well, exactly, but see, Fox doesn't realize that anymore. They did back then, but they're more. What's the word I'm looking for here? They're very greedy, and they just like, oh, the audience are stupid, so let's just give this piece of shit story, like you said before.
Well, I agree with you that people think the audience is stupid. Like I've been talking to a lot of comic book fans, and once they reboot Batman, because to what I've heard, this is going to be the final Batman with Christopher Nolan. So I'm hoping that we get a reboot after this, where it's a completely different continuity. Because unfortunately, I love this series of Batman films. Do you?
I like them. I'm not really much of a Batman expert, so I cannot judge them as adaptations. But yeah, I like Nolan's take on Batman.
Well, the thing about Batman is you can't really state, like, it's not like Resident Evil where there's a set storyline. Batman's more interchangeable than Batman is one of the most interchangeable things, very much like Superman, where you can do so many different things because there are so many different continuities. It's just, yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do with Batman.
Well, yeah, because it's non-going and it never put an end to it. And Resident Evil, it's kind of being like that now as well with Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles, where Capcom's trying so hard to link those movies to the games. And they're trying to keep it going. Use universe?
Yeah, used universe. Basically like Star Wars, where you feel like you're getting into the middle of something. You don't feel like you're at the beginning, you feel like you're in the middle.
Yeah, as long as there ain't morals being thrown at me left and right, that's all I ask.
Yeah. I mean, like, basically have a movie where you're not establishing villains, you're acting like they've already existed, and like these villains have been around and Batman's fought them, he's just fighting them again, and you can, I think if you do that, I think you can do better storylines.
Oh, exactly.
Because when you're doing things from the beginning every time and you're having an origin, you're never going to get to the good stuff, and that's my biggest problem, is that I want to see the fun things. My biggest problem with the new X-Men film they're coming out with, X-Men First Class, is now we're never going to get an Apocalypse movie, and that makes me mad. I don't know if I wanted to see an Apocalypse movie from Fox, but I do want to see an Apocalypse movie, and I don't think we're ever going to get one anymore.
I'm not really... I don't think you're going to get a lot of things from Fox when it comes to X-Men.
Well, eventually Disney is going to get all these properties back.
Wait a minute, Disney owns Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh,
you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, this happened about, I think, a year ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's we're in the early stages of it right now, but right now, yes, Disney did buy Marvel a year ago, and there has been some bad things that came out of it because there were 2 animated series that kind of got got canceled because of this buyout. But basically, from what I've heard, the reason they did this was because of the fact that Disney does not appeal to boys. The channel Disney does not really have anything that will appeal to the male audience, and they wanted to appeal to the male audience, so they decided to buy Marvel, and now they have an entire list of superheroes that they can make cartoons. Yeah, there's a really good reason why it happened.
Oh yeah, because they're trying to, like you said before, they're trying to get to the male audience.
No. It's not on Disney's part. Marvel was backed into a corner because Marvel was making all these movies. They were making Iron Man. They had Captain America in production. They were making all these films, and they had no money to back it up. And they basically got into a position where they were going to be in debt, and they were going to have to, basically they had no choice. They were going to have to sell to somebody, and Disney came and said, hey, we're willing to buy you.
Well, with Joe Quesada fucking things up, yeah, I rather see Disney running things than him. Is he still editor-chief at Marvel?
I don't know into the media kind of things, but I know how to look up information. That's why I know so much about comics, so I am really that big of an expert as some people might think I am. Like, I know my stuff because I care to know it, but I'm not a very fast reader even when it comes to comic books, so I tend to like to play video games and watch TV shows instead of reading a comic book.
Yeah, I hear you there. I'm not really much of a comic book person either. I will collect a few here and there.
Yeah.
I just been recently collecting the early issues of Spawn.
Yes, I heard that. I heard that if you basically from my comic book subscribers or my subscriptions at comic book people, I've learned a really good lesson that if you ever want to get into Spawn, you read the first 2 volumes and then you forget there are any more volumes. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard that like the first 2 volumes are really good, but then it goes down the drain from there.
Yeah, not necessarily, because from what I read about it so far, it's not really that well written. I mean, it's got pretty artwork, I'll give it that much.
Yeah. How deep are you into Spawn?
I used to be very deep into Spawn.
No, I mean in the storyline. How far have you gotten into it?
Right now I am at issue 9.
9? Okay, then you may not be able to answer this question because I've always wondered something. Are the Spawn toys, are most of the Spawn toys in the comics, or are they just toys that look cool?
I believe so, yeah.
Because that's my pet peeve with a lot of comic book toys is that they're there just to look cool. And like Spawn toys, there's Spawn Samurai, there's Spawn Demon, there's all these cool Spawns, and I'm wondering if they're actually in the comics.
My memory on Spawn's not really that good, but when I was a kid, I used to have a lot of them. And my grandfather burned them in a wood stove because he was like pro-Christian.
Yes, I know how that is. My dad's a Messianic Jew, so I get religion shoved down my throat all the time.
So yeah, most of my stuff back then pretty much got burned in a wood stove.
Yes, that must have. Yeah.
Not to mention like you said, you get crammed down your throat and you just kind of get sick of it. But anyways, I don't think there ever was a Spawn Samurai, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many different Spawn toys, but I'm just really wondering if the trends like comic books or if they're just like Batman toys where,
yeah, the majority of them, I'm pretty sure they're just making it up just to sell toys.
Yeah, that's bad. But how do you feel about Tim McFarlane actually directing a
Todd McFarlane?
The guy who created Spawn on actually writing Wizard of Oz movie.
Oh, he should just stay the hell away from it.
Oh, you don't want him to do that?
He's a good artist and he's good for setting up animation and all that, doing storyboards, but when it comes to writing, he's not that good.
Do you want to see an adult Wizard of Oz or an adult Alice in Wonderland movie of it?
I would like to, but as long as it remains in Disney's hands, we're never going to see that.
Well, I don't think it does remain in Disney hands. Actually, I don't think either of them do. I think they're. I'm not. I don't know if I'm mistaken here, but I think they're public domain. I'm not sure.
Huh.
I'd have to research it because I know that they've made. Actually, last year we did get we did actually about in the last 2 years we've gotten 3 Wizard of Oz. We've gotten 3. We got 3 Alice in Wonderland movies. We've got an Alice from Sci-Fi Channel. We got the Disney one that came out recently, and then we got Alice in Wonderland. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It was a low budget movie that was made. You can probably rent it on DVD. I don't know if your local video store would be, but it's.
Yeah, we don't have a local video store here. The Blockbuster and Video World just recently went out of business.
Oh, that must suck. Yeah. I personally use the online service myself because I don't like the selection my video store has. But if you can ever get a hold of it, what they did was they made this movie called Alice in Wonderland. It got really bad ratings, but I enjoyed it. And it's basically this girl from royalty basically gets drugged, and she goes into this bizarre world that it's a real world, but it's kind of like twisted where it is actually happening. It's not like it doesn't have bunny rabbits and all that, but it's basically it is the but it's using the Alice in Wonderland property to kind of create the atmosphere. Like, you get to see all the main characters, even though they are humans. It's interesting how they turn the adaptation into it, because it is faithful to the source material in a way, but it's got but it actually has drugs, and it has and like one scene she gets into a prostitute ring, and it's very dark. It's an R-rated movie.
Huh, I'll check it out sometime.
Yeah, I think this would be up your alley because I think you like movies like that.
Yes, I like a lot of movies. I don't really limit myself when it comes to movies.
Yeah, but from seeing the kind of things that you've reviewed and the kind of things you do, it seems like you like a lot of dark movies.
Yes, I do, but I also watch other type movies too. I just don't really review. I just mainly review, like, the dark ones, because I'm more into those.
Yeah, but that's all I was saying, is that you do seem like this seems kind of like a movie I think you would enjoy. Also, if you like Wizard of Oz, Tin Man from the Sci-Fi Channel, very good.
I'll check that out sometime when
the Ellis movie wasn't as good, but Tin Man is more of an adult, like adult meaning that it's more of like a 16-year, more like 15, 16 rated movie. It's dark, but it's not like what Tim McFarlane would do. It's not like an R-rated movie. It's just dark in the way that it's not like your campy type story, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, well,